Between me and you, I genuinely fuck with cars. From the aerodynamics to the looks, style, from the science and engineering behind the shit. But although it wasn't always like that, like honestly, if it wasn't for my goof ass cousin showing me a Toyota Super Mark IV spitting flames and having an AK-47 for an engine, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would not be here right now. I started to grow and bloom in the car community, kind of finding my own path kind of thing, and I stumbled upon Mitsubishi, and then I started learning about them and with cars, and boom, there she was, looking fine as ever. Definition of fine shit. Mitsubishi Eclipse. But although I'm still working on getting my car, whether it's the lovely second gen, the GST, the GS, the GSX, or the big booty BBL fourth gen, listen, as long as it's not the Eclipse crossover, I digress. So I'm gonna assume that you guys got a formal idea that I'm not an outsider looking in when it comes down to speaking on why I believe that Mitsubishi died in the eyes of enthusiasts. But anyways, getting along with the video, if we're gonna start like any other car video, we gotta start from the beginning.
Started in 1917 with the Mitsubishi Model A.
As a company though, bro, they be making everything from nuclear power plants, cruise missiles, space rockets, fucking the best of the best and most precise microscopes on the planet. And if you don't believe me, you can go look that shit up. I'm not even bullshitting. The bastards even make fucking fighter jets. They make fighter jets, bro. But you mean to tell me you can't make a whole new model of the 3000 GT? The Eclipse, the FTO, if you really that deep, the Gallant too, and they make fighter jets, bro. And it seems like to them, cars are a fucking side gig. I'm not gonna lie. If you look at their resume, it's like, oh, cars is just like something on the side that they decide to do. For them to make new gen cars and let alone new gen sport cars to like tend to enthusiasts such as you and I, it kind of sucks, but that's the sad truth in my opinion. And I think the lowest point of Mitsubishi in the last several years was probably introduced when they came out with the horrendous ass shaboing of a car, the lovely Eclipse Cross. That car is not lovely, man. Not only did they piss off a lot of Mitsu fans and a lot of Mitsu enthusiasts, like die-hard community, for attaching the name of such a legendary car, whether you had the first gen, second gen, the third gen, and for some reason you got a lot of hate of the fourth gen. It warmed up to me, but listen, you putting an Eclipse name on a crossover is weird, and none of us didn't like it. Not to mention discontinuing the Evo series, which is probably the most craziest one, even though it happened like almost 10 years ago, back in 2016 when they announced they was discontinuing the Evo. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that Mitsubishi Motors or just Mitsubishi as a whole is dead. The sad truth is, it's not the fact that they're dead, it's just Mitsubishi is dead in the eyes of enthusiasts, because Mitsubishi is one of the few car companies out there that are really catering to people with a low budget, kind of like how Hyundai and Kia were in the past 2 decades. That's kind of what they're doing now. I'm literally about to crack the code on biggest thing ever that kind of set the score for Mitsubishi going downhill, and we got to start with that Evo. We all know Mitsubishi was a dominant force not to be reckoned with when it came down to motorsports like World Rally, especially the World Rally or hill climbs, stuff like that. And the car itself is iconic. Most of us seen this car when we were a lot younger. If it was from Fast and Furious, maybe Tokyo Drift or better yet, probably Fast and Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious. You definitely seen this car, whether it was a Fast and Furious franchise or probably Midnight Club on the PS2 or PS3, or just maybe even Need for Speed or like Forza. You definitely seen or heard of this car before. It's very iconic. The Evo even holds a spot on the Nuremberg Ring all-time production car lap records with 8 minutes and 11 seconds. And in my opinion, I find that pretty impressive for a sports sedan. But everything changed when Mitsubishi announced that they were discontinuing the Evo in 2016.
Oh my God! Oh Jesus!
And the worst part about it, biggest factor on why they were not making them anymore was due to the fact of corporate priorities were shifting during this time, and they wanted to make more environmentally cautious vehicles, kind of like this, and worst of all, like this. So with that in mind, Mitsubishi basically decided they want to take a stake in making and producing SUVs, hatchbacks, if you really want to include the Mirage, and trucks. So that pretty much means that the Evo was on the chopping block, along with the Eclipse, the Galant. They stopped making those, which was a really dope car, really dope sedan. I low-key feel like that could have been up there with the Camrys, the Corollas, the Altimas. I feel like it could have been up there, but hey, I digress. It's their decision, but I think it was trash. But one of the biggest reasons why they had to stop production on the Evo series was the fact of financial issues. Mitsubishi has crazy financial issues. So honestly, if I'm being real, I'm surprised they're still around. That's why I kind of made that statement, like, are they really dead, or are they just dead in the eyes of a car enthusiast? But at the same time, it's also kind of happening to their strongest ally. But hey, no tea, no shade, just facts. But the reason why they were having a lot of financial issues with the Evo, it cost a lot to make the car, but also they didn't get a lot of money back from it. They didn't make a lot of revenue from it. So it really goes to high development cost to not very high production and sales, and let alone their sales was dropping. The lineup was kind of starting to age at this time. Their lineup was kind of starting to like deteriorate, and they weren't making anything new. And then there was fear on both the outside and within the company of like biggest fear, like bankruptcy, which is kind of sad. In the bank, that fear of bankruptcy for them was real, bro. It was real. And unfortunately, they had to discontinue the Evo mainly because of money issues. And one of the biggest examples of the whole development costing causing them issues was probably the 3000 GT. Like that's probably like one of their starting points. Like the 3000 GT cost them a lot of money, bro. The 3000 GT got discontinued in 2000, and that car was truly ahead of its time. It had twin turbochargers, four-wheel steering, motorized aerodynamics, bro. Like in the 90s, the early and late 90s with the VR4, the base model GT. And I strongly believe, and y'all can go in the comments and talk about this, I might start World War III. When it come down to the 90s, I really think the VR4 was better than the Supra. But even as this car did have the coolest specs of the 90s, god tier engineering, car still faced the problem of economics, bro. Economics literally ruined this car, and the demands of Japanese cars dropped, and the value of yen also dropped, so they had to make the car cheaper, taking out all the cool stuff, and they weren't making much profit from it because they had to make it cheaper, the engineering cost, development cost. So even with gold tier engineering, the car still wasn't selling well. That's really the sad truth. It wasn't selling well. And see now, and that's why they're building the cars that they're building now, kind of like the shit box of a Eclipse Cross. Eclipse Cross is a terrible car because honestly, it's a solid SUV. I personally wouldn't own one. The Eclipse is literally my favorite car, and that's the kind of car that's the reason why I'm such a big Mitsubishi fanboy. When I used to work there, the Eclipse Cross isn't that bad, but I do feel like it has a underwhelming driving experience. Dated interior design with cheap materials, funky infotainment system with a problematic touchpad. Honestly, I can count on my fingers and toes on how many people has came through service about the touchscreen, about cameras, about how it's not really comfortable. Some people even came to see was anything wrong with their seat. But how the way I feel, you get what you pay for kind of thing. It's like, I think the Outlanders and the Eclipse Crosses come at like 20-30 grand, which in this economy is pretty cheap, but hey, you get what you pay for. It got an average fuel economy, lackluster performance compared to its competitors in the compact SUV market. Let's just be honest, it is. Overall, if you ask me, it's a rinky-dink ass car. It's really rinky-dink, and that's just me being honest. And also, personally, I don't like this car as is, mainly because of the name. I really feel like they could have came up with something new or something more original instead of comparing it to the Eclipse. But even the craziest part about it, even had the audacity to even release a rally art version of the Eclipse Cross. And I didn't get it at first, like, because I didn't find out about it until I started working at Mitsubishi that they released that, and I was like, it doesn't have any performance. Like, who's gonna go out of their way to buy Riley art? Now it does look nice. It has the vinyl wraps on it. It looks nice. It has the decals on it. Has the mud flaps on it, like the accessories and stuff. But it's not a performance car. It literally shares the same horsepower and torque with a standard model Eclipse Cross with 152 horsepower and 184 torque. Don't believe me? You can literally look up the stats side by side. Even if you like them or you hate them, it's fine. I feel like that's fine, but I think they should have never released it, or at least never released it as that name. No tea, no shade, just fact. Another big factor in Mitsubishi failing at like kind of like going downhill was a lot of the scandals that they were in. If you're a fan or you just been in the game for a real long time and you mess with Mitsubishi like that, or you just par market watcher or news watcher, I guess, you definitely know about Mitsubishi being involved with ads, bro. Especially in 2000, like 2000 was like that year for them. I don't know, like they were peak criminals, bro. Mitsubishi was a Japanese YN, bro. I'm telling you. Well, they literally admitted to covering up vehicle defects for over 20 years, bro. And that's including faulty clutches, if you, for my manual drivers out there, faulty clutches, brake failure, and even fuel tanks falling off, bro. Imagine you driving down the street and your fuel tank just falls off and the company's sales fucking drop. And then not only did they sales drop, but they had to recall over 600,000. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. 600,000. And not only that, their top executives were arrested and convicted of criminal negligence, bro. They are certified YNs, bro. But they also got in trouble around 10, 11 years ago, back in 2016, because they admitted to falsely fuel efficiency tests for 2 of its models in 2 cars built for Nissan. And the company used non-compliant testing methods for up to 25 years, bro. These dudes are literally criminals, which not only led to the suspension of sales on their vehicles, but a sharp drop of its firm market value. Bro. And I'm not gonna lie, if I'm being real, the only reason why Mitsubishi Motors still even exists, capital and the injection of capital to their other companies that's loosely allied Mitsubishi group of companies, and also with Nissan pretty much buying 34% stake. Not gonna lie, I have some crazy stuff to say about that too. Hey! Is the fact that of that Nissan partnership, and it gives them it's like a lack of clear leadership, power, and balance within their alliance, including efficiencies, difficulties, decision making, even scandals, complex ownership structures within the Mitsubishi group. And like I said before, due to the fact of money issues, it kind of sucks that Mitsubishi can't stand on its own due to the true fear of bankruptcy. Kind of sucks for us Mitsubishi car enthusiasts because of the fact that they're heavily focused on budget cars and crossovers, and that's probably what they'll be known for until they become irrelevant. But that also makes me feel like Nissan won't allow Mitsubishi to pioneer anything that might outshine themselves. So I just feel like Nissan won't allow them to make anything that's a competitor with the Z series or the GTR. The Z and the Eclipse and the Evo, the GTR, they could have been rivals at one point. Want that competition, especially from someone that they own, but that can be a big factor. Mitsubishi, they're not bad for what they are. It's just that they're soulless and they're shadows of their former selves from their rally sports days. It's something that's no longer there, and that's kind of the sad part that we gotta accept, especially with them being owned by Nissan. And it gets even worse because now you have Nissan, Mitsubishi, and Honda in the alliance teaming up, which a lot of us Mitsubishi guys have been getting a lot of hate recently because, you know, the RSX getting transferred into a crossover. Who else did that? Mitsubishi. They practically stole it out of our playbook. Just saying. Not only are they teaming up, they're teaming up to produce EVs. If you don't know what EV is basically electric vehicles. And not only are they competing in EVs, they're also competing in hybrids. So hybrids has a solid market now. You have the Outlander, PHEV. But now what I am about to say I think that's fine with their alliance. They're trying to develop new automotive technology. Now, I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but Mitsubishi may potentially supply their PEHV technology and trucks platforms to Honda, which means they're going to help them learn how to make hybrids, be more efficient with their new market of EVs and hybrids, basically. But me being a traditional gas oil kind of guy, I really don't think this alliance, if this alliance is solely based on the fact that they're going to produce hybrids and EVs, I really don't believe that they're going to make a lot of profit, and I don't think they're going to benefit from this due to the fact that their whole sole purpose is to compete Tesla in the Chinese EV market, which is really good. But see, the thing that people fail to realize is that when you buy EV, you have to get the home charger installed, so that's a lot of money. Then your light and energy bill is going to go up, and it's basically, to me, quote unquote status kind of thing. I don't think they're going to gain nothing from this, because who in their right mind is just going to say, oh yeah, I'm finna go to Mitsubishi for electric car, or I'm going to go to Honda for electric Civic? Who wants a Civic EV, bro? That's what I'm saying. Nissan, they got the Aria, but the Aria is not even selling well, so it's like off rip you can tell that a lot of what they're trying to plan is kind of going to go in the dirt. But now maybe in the Japanese market, our market itself, and not the American one, it might do some good. I don't think they're going to benefit anything from it. Now they're talking about making new automotive technology, they're working on a joint car, then okay, cool, maybe even a performance sport car. I think that's cool, I think that's fine. But if you're just solely just going to work on hybrids and EVs, I don't think it's going to be as beneficial, and I think you're going to spend more money developing car, and that goes back to development costs. A lot of people said it best. They died in the eyes of us enthusiasts. They're pretty much passed on. Everybody else that's a Mitsubishi fan, I'm not just gonna sit here and bash them. I will give Mitsubishi the utmost respect that it deserves for being one of the coolest companies to ever exist. One of the first to have active aero, especially in the 90s. A rally legend that dominate. And many may not even know this, but they even developed and provided Nissan with a module slash kind of controller for active yaw control for the R34 Skyline. Lots of people don't know that. So Mitsubishi has always been top tier engineering. Our beloved Mitsubishi has fallen over time, and their biggest factor has seemed to always be money. And they produce cars, some flop, some begin to not sell over time, to the point where they went from being a rally champion to just some car you just take your kids and wife on vacation to the beach or something. That's pretty much what they've gone back, in which it isn't bad, but in the eyes of enthusiasts like you and I, we see something that's no longer there. We seen the potential that they had, we seen their peak and their height of where they were, but they're no longer there. And that's kind of a sad truth. Probably just gotta accept that we're probably not gonna get that back, which is fine. Hey, we still have the memories. We still can buy the car ourselves and develop our own love for Mitsubishi. But yeah, so if you guys really enjoyed this video, if you guys feel genuine enough, and if you guys really enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. This is my first video on this channel, and please just help your boy out, okay? And if you really feel genuine, like, and I really would appreciate you guys comment and tell me how you guys feel about the decline. See Mitsubishi dying before your very eyes. That I would really appreciate. And I also would really like to thank you guys for taking this time and watching this video. But that's been your boy KZ Motorsports, and see you guys in the next video. Over and out.